Hi, welcome back to another Walking with Darren. It's been a while since I've done one of these. A number of you have sent in notes asking if I'd start them up again, have these little chats together. Quick reminder, Charlie's still living with my sister. He's kind of living like a retired doctor, I think. The royalties off his book deal must be a lot. He doesn't tell me anything. I heard he's planning a river cruise. Anyway, so thought we'd start these up again, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what's happening in the U.S. election. The last few months have been just what on earth? You know, we had President Biden, I think quite rightly recognizing that maybe another 4 more years we're probably not going to be in the cards. So he stepped down. We had just before that the incredible assassination attempt on President Trump. Sadly, someone lost their life and a few people were injured. But that was unbelievable, wasn't it? I thought for a while there it might look like whoever makes it to November might be the president. And now it looks like the Democrats have picked Vice President Harris as their candidate. We'll see when they go into their convention. And somehow she went from being not very popular to the savior of the party. So I don't know what's going on there. As a Canadian, I can't vote, but certainly we all have a pretty vested interest in what the outcome is there. So hopefully our friends and cousins in the United States can figure all this out with this slew of candidates they have. Outside shot, I think Lion King or Tiger King, if he gets out of jail, maybe he makes a surprise appearance as somebody's running mate or, I don't know, independent. I don't know what's going on, but we'll keep an eye on what's happening there. Now, as an investor, obviously who leads the free world is going to be important, but I want to point out that it may not be as important as people think. Clearly, we want to pay attention to see which way the wind might be blowing, and as investors, we need to take some cues and clues from that. And Christian and I talk quite regularly with you about how we're interpreting the winds that are blowing. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really make a big difference. I'm going to show you a chart right now, which goes and shows you in a long-term perspective, it almost doesn't matter who's in charge of the U.S. White House, because the power of U.S. productivity and the U.S. economy is so strong that it doesn't really matter who's in charge over a long period of time. And again, in the short term, which way the wind might blow will matter, but in the grand scheme of things, you don't run for the exits just because whoever got in is someone you don't like, whoever it is. Canada's a slightly different story, because the U.S. has such a strong checks and balances system and its structure. The president can wield power, but they're not a dictator, no matter what, a news channel might say. Canada, a bit of a different story. The Prime Minister in Canada, because of our parliamentary system, the Prime Minister's office wields considerably more power over domestic affairs than the president does in the United States. So who we vote for up here does make a big difference, because they can really set policy in a way that isn't possible in the U.S. And not sure when we're due for an election in Canada. It's sometime in the next 18 months, I think, but we'll get one when we get one. And that matters a lot because, again, when I talk about U.S. productivity and the power of the U.S. economy, Canada's economy is good, but it ain't that good. And when we look at some of the key numbers that have come out over the last bunch of years, we're really in a difficult spot. Canadian productivity isn't anywhere close to what the Americans are. Our debt load for individuals is too high, and our real estate market's having a heck of a tough time right now. So we got to pay attention to some of these things. And I also want to point out something that the Fraser Institute announced last week, where they came out with a chart, which I'll put up now. There's the magic of television. Will show what the average family in Canada spends on different items. And as you can see, the number one item that Canadians spend on, it's not housing, it's not food, it's not transportation, it's not their cell phone and cable subscription package, although I'd argue it's getting up there. It's taxation across all levels. And it's almost half of the average family's monthly budget. That's a pretty big number. And as I've talked about before, I'm a big believer in something called Steins Law, which says if something cannot go on forever, it will stop. And you really have to wonder, how long can we run an economy when pretty much half of everything you make goes to taxation? Hang on, I got to duck under a tree. That's a sentence I didn't think I'd say, but there you go. Anyway, so who we vote for in Canada, really, really important. And again, pick who you want, but I want to point out that the economic numbers are really becoming of concern. And we've seen a number of policy issues that have happened that really make you kind of scratch your head. Now, on that front, I also want to make sure you're aware of the podcast that I started this year called Two-Way Traffic. And because we run the largest cross-border practice, wealth management practice in North America, we're really focusing a lot on issues that matter to people who have money and family on both sides of the border, which is pretty much all of you. And I've been interviewing the top lawyers, estate planners, accountants, and other people that I've discovered really are true specialists in what they do. I'm really fortunate that they'll take 30-odd minutes at a time to talk about different issues. So I'll put a link up here to our YouTube channel where you can watch those. And if you want to go to your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or whatever it is, just type in two-way traffic, Darren Coleman, and enjoy. We've had some really good guests on recently talking about some of these tax issues and why they matter so much and how the Canadian system differs a little bit from the US system. So no matter which country you're in, we've got some good content for you. Now, a couple of other updates. We are looking at a new office space. Where we moved into after COVID is a little more like a playhouse, I think, for the team to start getting back together. We're going to outgrow it very quickly, so we've just signed an offer on a new place that hopefully the landlord likes my terms, and we'll know shortly if we get it. If we get that location, I'll make sure you know about it, and it's going to be kind of built out for us. So if we get it, hopefully we can move in February, March of 2025. So that'd be a fun thing to look forward to. We have an office in Vancouver that we opened up last year so that Katie and Ryan have somewhere other than their kitchens or a Starbucks to work out of. So we're pleased to be in the Guinness Tower. Beautiful view of the water. So I'll be out there in September and make a point to go at least quarterly to visit with everybody, see some of our clients that are out in the West Coast, and also the lawyers and accountants and other champions we have that support us from Vancouver and Victoria and points west. Well, west of here, not west of there. You know what I'm talking about. You got it. Anyway, one other quick thing. Pedro wanted me to mention this. We're going to be doing a little more validation and checks when some clients ask us for, or not some clients, but when clients ask us for some transactions. In the last few months, we've actually had two criminal attempts for people to try and get our clients' identities and access their accounts. Now, they picked the wrong team because we know our clients and we've got incredibly good security protocols. We reported all of the two attempts to corporate security who've involved the authorities. So nobody's getting over our fence, that's for sure. But it points out the degree to which some of these things are happening. So I want to let you know we're very on guard for this. And if we have to phone from time to time just to verify or double check a transaction, we're being extra careful because the bad guys keep coming. So we're going to keep doing our best to keep them out of your business. So that's it. That's about it. So listen, have a lovely summer. I'm trying to get my steps in. It's a beautiful day out here in August in Ontario. So you got to get out and enjoy it. Get my steps in, as they say. My daughter says, Dad, have a hot girl summer. I don't really know what that means, but anyway. So there you go. So with that, enjoy your summer. We'll talk to you again soon. Keep an eye on the videos that Christian and I do to keep you updated on what's happening in the market. Go and download our podcast. We want to do that, keep you entertained. And if there's anything else you need, reach out, let me know, and I'll be back to do one of these again with you shortly. Thanks very much. Have a great summer. Oh, Charlie, you're missing all this, buddy. That's okay. I'm pretty sure my sister's feeding you bonbons and enjoying life.